Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. In today's episode, we're going to be focusing on Tesla stock and only Tesla. Now, this is the biggest week of ever for Tesla. What are we expecting? Okay, what do we think is going to happen? Shareholder vote takes place on Thursday, and how does this set Tesla up for what I view as one of the most aggressive short-term upside rallies we've ever seen in Tesla? Okay, where could Tesla stock be going? What are the risks? We'll get into all of it. We'll also talk the broader markets a little bit in this video as well, because I think the broader markets are set up to do well, and that only will help Tesla stock also. So hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Check that link out down below in the description of today's episode if you guys want to come join the trading community, come invest with us, come join that journey. Again, long story short, we're trying to find the next big winners. I don't like investing in the stocks that are hyped up, that everyone knows about. I want to find the next big stock that people don't know of yet. Okay, and that is what I've been able to do over and over again. And I think we have a lot of exciting prospects right now that we are invested in. So come check that out if you guys have not done so already. Now, first things first with Tesla, as per typical, it's really two parts, okay? You think about Tesla as a singular stock and what is coming, okay? But then you always want to think about what's happening in the broader markets, okay? Because, you know, if markets are crashing or markets are rallying, that has a big influence to what Tesla does, okay? Now, if we just think about the broader market backdrop, I've talked about this for a while now. If you look at things objectively, without emotion, we had the Fed, which was bullish. Okay, sure, did the Fed tell us they're data dependent? Yeah. Did some investors hate to hear that? Yeah. But the Fed cut rates, they ended QT, and they're starting QE. It was reported that the Fed actually purchased like $30 billion worth of assets over this weekend. Okay, so that's all good, right? Last week we had hyperscaler earnings. The AI story is alive and well. It's never been better. They're raising CapEx budgets for AI. Earnings beat across the board for all Mag 7 stocks pretty much, besides Tesla's EPS. But, you know, on a revenue basis, even including Tesla, they all beat, okay? So earnings were really good, and there was high expectations. This was the highest expectations for earnings seasons for an earnings season we have had in years, okay? So no complaints there. Trump lowered tariffs on China 10%, essentially came to a trade deal with China, or like a trade negotiated pause last week as well. You seen the stock, you did see Tesla do well on Friday because of all of this, the volatility collapse that is currently going on. But for most of last week, none of the good news actually got reflected in Tesla stock, okay? And I think that is going to start really getting reflected in markets in this upcoming week. Now, again, in this upcoming week, we have the shareholder vote for Elon's compensation package. And this is the largest event in Tesla's history. Okay, there is nothing more important than this. Why? Because if Elon stays with Tesla, that's really, really good. Okay, Elon has not had a contract or pay package or compensation of really any form for years. There's always been that risk that Elon could step away from Tesla. That's why, you know, Wall Street got a little nervous. Investors in Tesla got a little nervous when, you know, Elon started to get more involved in politics and this and that, okay? Because there was no, like, contract for, you know, Elon to stay the CEO of Tesla. And there is so much value added to Tesla stock because Elon is the CEO. If Elon were to walk away and never come back to Tesla, you would see the stock fall 50 to 80%. 50% is like bare minimum. 80-90% would ultimately be where how low the stock would go. Like it would be bad, okay? Tesla could be a $60-$70 stock if Elon left Tesla. Okay, it would start to be viewed as a car company. So, getting Elon's compensation package passed and approved this week is the biggest event in the history for Tesla, of Tesla. Okay, now most betting markets have the odds at 90+% that his package will be approved. It's almost certainly going to be approved. If you know, like anyone that owns Tesla is obviously like, you want Tesla stock at an $8.5 trillion valuation, right? If you could snap your fingers and Tesla was an $8.5 trillion valuation, every investor would do so. Unfortunately, that's not how it works. Tesla has to, do well and blah, blah, blah. And the only way to get to those kind of valuations is if Elon is the CEO. I personally talked about on this channel, no surprise, that I think Tesla stock is going up anywhere from a minimum of 10% and kind of a maximum of 20% following the approval of Elon's compensation package on Thursday. Okay, that's anywhere from 500, I believe it's $3 per share. Oh, what the heck? Oh my gosh, that is not right. 10% from here puts the stock, at about $502 per share. 20% higher from here puts the stock at about $547 per share. Now, that's the immediate reaction that I would expect, assuming Tesla stock is around this price heading into the vote on November 6th. Okay, anywhere from the really low 500s to about the mid 500s. Okay, around, again, 550 or so. But that's the start. Okay, things are going to get more dramatic to the upside even then following that. Okay, if you look at Tesla from a technical perspective, it looks really good. The stock looks like it wants to break out. Like, this is not rocket science. It looks like you have a little bit of a cup and handle, which is obviously a bullish, breakout sign. And it looks like that is what is in store for us this week. But if the vote for whatever reason does not get approved or gets rejected or something like that, that's obviously going to be a massive issue for Tesla stock. And that is a risk, although I don't see that. Okay, so that's the Tesla side. It's going to be potentially really exciting. Okay, now again, the broader markets, I'm expecting a rally in some of the risk-on areas, which Tesla is a risk-on area. So I wouldn't be shocked if we could see Tesla by even mid-November in the 600s, right? That wouldn't shock me at all. Now, for this week, as far as options, okay, well, let's look at what the options are pricing in for Tesla stock, okay? You can do this by adding the at-the-money call and the at-the-money put and dividing it by the price of the stock. So the at-the-money call is $14.30 in option terminology or option premium. That's $1,430. If we look at the put, that's at the money. Let's go look. You're looking at 1485 because you want to use the same one. So I looked at the $457.50 call and the same put. Okay, so when you add that together, the stock is pricing in about a $29 move by Friday. So divide that by $456.10. And the stock is only pricing in a 6% move. So you know, as we get closer to Thursday, these numbers could change, but the stock is actually not pricing in that much of a move this week, which I think it could move a lot more than that. So there could be an opportunity in the options market, although I'm not really a fan of options in this market just because I mean, you can have a theory, you can have your expectations clearly, drawn out, and then one headline just destroys the whole thesis, right? Something that could dramatically change, markets' perceptions of a certain stock or the markets in general. So you're only pricing in about a 6% move. I think 10 to 20% could be coming on Thursday. Now, that's interesting because you are only pricing in 6%. So if we do get a 10% move or so, that's going to be a surprise in the options market. That could lead to, more gamma hedging or gamma buying from the market makers. And you could actually get a little bit of a gamma squeeze this week. And you've seen short sellers covering quite a bit recently. Okay, Tesla's short interest went from about 3% down to about 2.5%. In total, shorts have covered about 10 million shares or so. So you've already seen short sellers covering a bit, but you could be in for a little bit of a gamma squeeze and or maybe even short squeeze this week, right? As if the stock does what I think it's going to do, there's going to be a lot of pressure on the 72 million shares that are sold short, and even like 10 million or 20 million shares trying to be covered in a day or a couple days is a lot of buying pressure, right? On Friday, you had total volume of 83 million. What do you think happens if 10 million shares want to cover? 5 million shares even, you know. That's a lot of additional buying pressure on top of, organic buying pressure. So that's where you could really see one of those outsized moves like I'm talking about here in today's episode. So I think Tesla's November 6th shareholder meeting really sets up a end of the year rally for the stock, and I think it partially leads into next year. And I think next year is Tesla's year, right? I think that is when Wall Street really starts to wake up to the potential in Tesla in a way in which we have not seen in a while. As Robotaxi expands, continues to grow. Again, we're looking at maybe 2,000 Robotaxis out on the road by the end of this year, let alone what we're going to see next year. Okay, probably the Roadster next year, probably new models even next year. Deliveries and demand are strong. There's a lot to be excited about. Optimus, we'll have to see, but maybe we get something happening on the Optimus front next year also. There's, like, as far as AI stocks, Tesla is the holy grail of real world AI. And you wouldn't think that's the case if you look at Tesla stock and the way that it's still below its prior all-time high that was set in 2024. So let me know your thoughts on all of this down below in the comment section. I think this year-end rally could, again, lead the stock well into the 600s, maybe even above 640, which is a roughly $2 trillion market cap level. Could be even higher than that by December 31st. So let me know your thoughts on this down below in the comment section. Hit the like button as well as subscribe to the channel if you have not done so already. Have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the